So blood flow through the heart, as we said, this is something that you will need to know. It goes through the right atrium to the right ventricle, through the pulmonary arteries to the lungs, where it is reoxygenated. It then comes back from the lungs via the pulmonary veins, the left atrium, the left ventricle, through the aorta, off to the systemic circulation. This is a one-way flow of blood, and it requires adequate functioning and coordination of each chamber. And it's the only example where an artery is carrying reduced oxygen and a vein is carrying O2-rich, oxygen-rich blood. Now, we've got to think about how we get blood flow coming back from the systemic circulation, coming back through to the heart. We'll look more at this when we look at blood vessels, but suffice to say that every time you walk and your leg muscles contract, it's actually helping to squeeze blood through the veins and propel the blood up the leg against gravity so that it can be collected in the larger veins and head back to the heart. Breathing also, when a person is inspiring and exhaling, alters the interthoracic pressure and propels blood back to the heart as well. So we've spoken that the heart is a muscle, and of course the muscle needs its own blood supply. So this picture is actually showing you the blood supply to the actual heart muscle. So the heart doesn't receive any nutrients from the blood that it's actually pumping around. It has to have its own blood supply. And you can see here that on the outside surface of the heart, we've got the arteries that are leaving the base of the aorta, just above where the valves are. And that's where the oxygen-rich blood supply comes from for the heart. And of course, the veins will be draining blood back into the right atrium. So now we're going to talk a bit more about blood flow of the heart. So the blood flow of the heart is via the coronary arteries, and it only supplies the heart muscle. So you can see that if we had trouble with the cardiac coronary arteries, like if they got blocked, then there would be problems with the heart muscle getting circulation. So the left ventricle has the highest blood supply, Y, and also you can see, if we look back at you can see here that we've got on this side, the left side of the heart, it has a very big circumflex artery and the anterior intraventricular artery. So it provides a large amount of blood supply to the surface of the heart muscle, because remember, it is the left ventricle that is doing the bulk of the work, so that muscle needs to be well nourished with oxygen and nutrients so that it can continue to work for all of our lives and pump blood out to the systemic circulation. The coronary veins drain into the coronary sinus, which drains into the right atrium, and this is the usual blood flow through the heart. So the right coronary artery supplies blood to the right atrium and segments of both of the ventricles, and there are also parts of the sinoatrial cells that we'll talk about in the next lecture. The left coronary artery has two main branches, the circumflex artery and the anterior intraventricular artery, and both of these supply the left ventricle and the left atrium. The coronary veins, as I said previously, return blood, so this is deoxygenated blood, to the coronary sinus, which drains into the right atrium. And importantly, as the heart is pumping continuously, it requires a reliable flow of blood which is high in oxygen and nutrients. So here you can see another view of the heart, which is showing you more of the blood vessels. And you can see where the coronary sinus is, where the coronary veins are draining back into the right atrium. Here we've got an actual human heart which has been treated, and the blood vessels on the outside, the coronary vessels, have been treated with a dye so that you can see their structure.